G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. All Blacks versus Wallabies, Wildkard Cup Game 2. Every year, the test match away in New Zealand is the worst day of the year for me. This, it's like, it's something, I try to figure out why I'm always disappointed, why I suffer like minor degrees of depression following watching this test match, and I figured out why. I just figured it out. My expectations for the result of this match is way too high. Way too high. I had gone into this match hoping for the Wallabies maybe getting a draw or maybe lose by less than 3 tries. Apparently that's too high. I was gravely disappointed once again because my expectations were way too high. Obviously the All Blacks flogged the Wallabies at Eden Park. 36 years, 37 years, I don't even know, I've lost count. Maybe I will see it, I would not be able to see it in the end of my lifetime, that we're ever going to beat New Zealand at Eden Park, because the players just give up. They just give up. They just, they just basically throw in the white towel after half time and saying, hey, we've had enough, boys. We've had enough. Let's just pack this one up and go home and take out paychecks. It was horrendous. Horrendous performance by the Wallabies. Ironically, the Wallabies performed best. The best periods of performance by the Wallabies, where I can truly say I was proud to be a Wallabies fan, was during yellow cards. Yes, the Wallabies had 2 yellow cards in the first half, and the best, by far the best periods of gameplay out of the men in gold, men in yellow cards, were played with 14 players on the field. Actually looked like a team when they were down a man. Unbelievable. Just unbelievably bad. So they, let's start with the Wallabies, okay? Let's start with the Wallabies. Penalties everywhere. 2 yellow cards in the first half. What else needs to be said? Play 20 minutes with the play in the bin. And the decision making was like better for some reason with 14 players. The team actually tried to score tries, actually tried to put pressure on, actually rushed up in defense and made, some form of tackles. Not great, but at least tried. And then as soon as the players come back onto the field, the Wallabies like, all right guys, we've got this one won. We won the game, boys. Let's just relax. Let's just take it easy. And like tackling starts to fall off. Riku Ioane was just carving people up left and right. And Beauden Barrett's superior kicking game was just like unable to cope with by the Wallabies for some reason. What do you call it? The scrummaging. You thought it was bad when there was play in the bin. It was just as bad when the play was back onto the field. And then the line out more as well. Getting absolutely destroyed. Not to mention the amount of drop balls, okay? I didn't know it was raining out there, guys. Did you know it was raining in Eden Park? I didn't know either. Was it raining? But it looked like it was, because every time the Wallabies had the ball, just dropping the ball left and right. Like, yeah, just drop ball, drop ball, drop ball. It was like watching schoolboys play once again, right? For some reason, all the Wallabies players, whenever they go over to New Zealand, they suddenly get their puberties back, and they just can't catch the ball anymore. It was absolutely horrendous, and they were just like some of these errors that the Wallabies made were just comical, right? With there was one point we finally made some space out wide in the first half. Corin Betty on the wing, unmarked, just few more steps going for the try. Really great hands by the backs, by the way. And by the way, this was also with 14 players on the field because they can't play 15 players, right? They spread the ball out to Corin Betty. For some reason, he steps on the line. Yeah, no one is even marking him. He steps on the line. I don't know how. I don't know. Is he drunk? I don't know. But yeah, look like just amateur errors like that. Like really boggles my mind. How that even work, right? And again, like I already mentioned, scrums absolutely dominated. Penalties, scrum penalties, more. Again, some reason the Wallabies don't know how to defend the more. Yeah, I know. Just more penalties, penalty tries, just like absolutely no clue how to defend the more. It's almost like a different team on the field today. And it was horrendous performance. We'll look at the stats in a minute, because the stats is even like just bafflingly bad. At halftime, I looked at the stats. It was already like horrendous. For a full-time, like, the stats would be considered horrendous if that was the full-time stats. So we're going to have a look at the full-time stats in a minute. But man, let's talk about this performance by the mighty All Blacks, okay? The mighty All Blacks returns. Sir Fozzie has once again taken the All Blacks to the promised land, going to the Rugby World Cup, heavily favourites to take the Webb Ellis Cup back to the beautiful cities of New Zealand, and once again hold on to it for the next 10 years, right? And yeah, this was a good performance by the All Blacks. Rieko Ioane was given space out wide. Maybe has something to do with Jordie Barrett at 12, creating the space for Rieko Ioane. So Jordie Barrett was really impressive at 12, to be honest. I didn't think his performances at 12 at the Hurricanes warrants an international level call-up, but this was performance. But then again, the Wallabies were basically schoolboys out there. They're basically playing against schoolboys. Everybody could look good against schoolboys. But anyway, so Rieko Ioane was giving some space out wide, really carved up a little bit. Will Jordan, once again, was given space out wide, showed a lot of energy, a lot of space, scoring a try. Caleb Clark did exactly what he wanted to do, running into people, mauling people over. Just brutalizing running, really, really good. And I think that the best performance out of all of that is actually the All Blacks forwards. Believe it or not, I'm so impressed by this All Blacks forward pack. I'm just like, Jason Ryan, the forwards coach that's been brought up from the Crusaders, has done absolute God's work. You guys need to give him a knighthood. Needs to give Jason Ryan a knighthood today, because he has saved the All Blacks. He single-handedly saved the All Blacks. The All Blacks forward pack has improved week after week after week after week after week. I actually couldn't believe it. They're getting better every week. It's noticeably better. It's not just like, it's tiny little margins here and there. Noticeably huge strides better. And to think that the All Blacks, the best team in the world, can take huge strides in getting better in their four pack is unbelievable to me. Like, tonight was absolutely clinical to the T. Okay, the All Black lineout was spot on. The lineout, like I said, was absolutely devastating. The Wallabies was just so solidly set up, both the starting team and the reserve team. So solidly set up. It looked better than the Springboks more, to be honest. It looked like the best more in the world. Like, absolutely impeccable, just perfectly set platform, runs you down, try time every time, right? It was unbelievably good. Scrummaging as well. Terrell Lomax, this guy is a machine. This guy's an absolute machine. He has been on the bench for quite a while now. Finally getting caught up. Maybe some work from Jason Ryan, some tips, some of those technique has been improved. Absolutely destroy the Wallaby scrums. Penalty, tight head wins, penalties all night. Against both the starting and reserve. When Angus Bell came on, I thought that was going to stop a little bit, because Angus Bell is the best loose head prop in the Wallabies. Nah, just rums him down like absolutely nobody. Like a schoolboy. Yeah, just absolutely mauling him over like a schoolboy. Terrell Lomax, insanely good. Not to mention, and also the amount of work that the four pack, the tackle amount, like what was his name? Not Takiaho. Ethan DeGroo just making tackles, getting himself at the breakdown, just fronting up the bodies, not missing those tackles that he has been doing. It's just like superb performance. And then not to mention, this guy also carries the ball. I want to see the stats later on in the week to see how much like run meters this forwards actually got. It was insane. They play like loose forwards and then scrummed like world-class scrummagers. Scarily good. And Beauden Barrett was once again playing at 15 since last time in 2020 or 29. I think the commentator said he played against Argentina in 2020 was last time he played fullback. Looked quite good. Again, he showed out his superior kicking game. Just absolutely destroyed the Wallabies. Now, the referee. I really don't want to talk about referee, but there were a few moments that this was, some of you guys warned me in the pre-match preview that Andrew Brace was awful, and I do remember seeing him before, but I don't remember him being that awful, to be honest. So, today, I really did see that he is actually quite bad. But, to be fair, the referee did not win the game for the All Blacks. It did look like the All Blacks paid him to call in their favor, but it was not needed. It was not needed, okay? So, there was a few incidences that I thought was quite egregious, so I'm just going to point those out. It's probably a bit more than that. And so basically, right in the first half when the game was quite tight, there was one incident where, so obviously the yellow cards against the Wallabies, they were warranted, so they were the correct calls. But Tom Wright at one point, the All Black concedes a penalty. He takes a quick tap. He runs down the field, and then he chips the ball behind, and he gets tackled without the ball. The referee didn't call. I thought that was egregious. I was really angry about that. The referee didn't call it. But, you know, and there was another point later on where Foley did the same thing. He kind of made an intercept. He ran down the field, chips the ball behind. He gets tackled as well without a ball. It's not just like one of those, you know, sometimes you see players like keeps their line and blocks the chaser, which is legal because they're just running their line or standing on the line and they block the chaser. This is the blatant tackle, literally tackling without a ball, right? So the referee twice missed that, which is, you know, that's actually not the worst. The worst happened, and this really got me angry. I literally threw the remote at the TV when I saw this. About 10 minutes left in the match, Reece Hodge gets the high ball in his backfield. He runs up, Saville Reece goes up to him, high shoulder-to-shoulder tackle, straight head collision, huge bang, two players' heads collided, no dip from Saville Reece, no dip from Reece Hodge, completely illegal. Okay? If this was an absorbing tackle, this would have been a yellow. And I thought there was like, the Saville Reece ran straight into it. There was no absorbing in that one from Saville Reece. Not even a penalty. Referee didn't even look at it. And then like 2 minutes later, he gives a high tackle for, oh my god, he touched his face with the seatbelt tackle, oh, penalty. It was horrendous. One of the most horrendous tackles I've seen, right? Yeah, red card all day. Red card all day. Didn't even get a penalty. Didn't even look at it. Didn't even care. TMO didn't even care. Money well spent, New Zealand. Money well spent. I hope he gets cited and get banned, but money well spent. Well, still, you know, Wallabies wasn't going to win it at that point, even with a red card, but still, like, the referee could not make it any more blatantly obvious that he was obviously not doing his job, doing his freaking job. And there was another point where Sam Whitelock apparently scored, so he goes in, there was a massive mess, it looked like he had his hand on the ball, and maybe he lost control, maybe not. Maybe there was like a lot of hands on it. The replay, pretty hard to see. Maybe whose hand was it that was on the ball when it was grounded, because he kind of like popped out of the side. The referee somehow on the field determined that it was a try. So his on-field decision was a try, and asked the TMO to see if there was a knock on. The TMO obviously can't see it because, you know, if you can't, because TMO needs very clear evidence that the ball has been knocked on, and it looked like somebody's hand was on the ball, and there was no way for the TMO to determine whose hand it was. But because the on-field decision was apparently a try, the try stands. So I don't know. I just wondering, like, Andrew Brace, did you lie? Did you actually lie? Did you actually see the ball being grounded, or you just lied? I think you lied, Andrew. You did not see the try being scored, but you lied. You said on-field decision was try. You means that you saw the try being scored, and you think there was a knock on. But yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look at the abhorrent stats, the awful stats from the Wallabies, right? Yeah. 610 run meters for New Zealand. They're running a marathon on out there, the players. Running into schoolboys. The Wallabies 372, right? So at halftime, halftime, All Blacks already at 265 to Wallabies 205 run meters. So the Wallabies actually did more run meters in the first half, despite playing 20 minutes with 14 players on the field. Yeah, you might as well start again with 14 players, Wallabies, because you seem to play a lot better with 14 players than 15. Anyway, defenders beaten. Jesus, my God. My goodness. 29 defenders beaten to 11. So the All Blacks already beaten 19 defenders at halftime. Yeah, man, this is just like unbelievable. Like playing against schoolboys. Actually, that's probably an insult to schoolboys, to be honest, because I feel like the schoolboys will probably make more tackles than the Wallabies did tonight, right? Turnovers conceded, because some of the schoolboys are actually pretty good, you know, at the highest level. In some of the high schools, they're actually quite good because they're, you know, on the verge of becoming professional in a year or so. And so, yeah, it might be an insult to schoolboys to call that this is a schoolboy performance. On the turnovers conceded, 6 against the All Blacks, 15 against the Wallabies, almost tripling. And at halftime, the All Blacks only conceded 1 turnover to the Wallabies 7. Defense. 127 tackles made, 29 missed tackles to the Wallabies. At halftime, the Wallabies already missed 19 tackles. Like, that is already the limit for an international test team if you were to play a full test match. At halftime, they already missed 19. All Blacks missed 11 overall, 6 at halftime. 126 overall tackles made. Kicks in play, 20-20. Pretty even for both teams. Couple conversions missed by Mitchell Mo'unga. Not a huge deal. Lineouts. Interestingly, the All Blacks did mess up a few of the lineouts. They lost 2 lineouts already at halftime. Lost another one in the second half. The Wallabies has 1 lineout lost, but it doesn't really matter. The execution following the lineouts was just really, really bad for the Wallabies. The maul wasn't going anywhere. The All Blacks turned the ball over from the Wallabies maul a number of times. And the Wallabies conceded penalty tries. 1 penalty try against the rolling maul, and 2 just more tries as well on top of a penalty try, more try. Yeah, horrendous stuff. Scrum, 1 scrum loss to the Wallabies. That's 1 tight head, but there was so many penalties against the Wallabies. This stats actually look a lot. It's actually a lot worse than it makes it out to be. So 1 tight head officially won by Terrell Lomax. Give the guy a beer at the end of the match, please. Because you know that would. Anyway, penalties conceded 13-16. At halftime, the All Blacks for Wallabies both conceded 8 penalties apiece. So even at halftime, but the Wallabies did receive 2 yellow cards because they were under pressure, giving away penalties, and there was 1 dangerous tackle. So not tackle, dangerous clean out by Parecki. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. This was. So there was an interesting stat actually at halftime. Just want to quickly go through. So at halftime, despite the Wallabies playing with 14 players and the time spent inside the opposition 22, the Wallabies were 4 minutes and 52 seconds inside the All Blacks 22 at halftime. Whereas the All Blacks only spent 2 minutes and 20 seconds inside the Wallabies 22. So the Wallabies actually had plenty of opportunities, put a lot of pressure on the All Blacks, despite playing 14 players on the field. So the best period of the Wallabies, like I've been saying again and again and again, is when they had a play in the bin. Yeah. Anyway, let's quickly recap this atrocity and just move on with our lives. Yeah. And first, and also, sorry, Springbok fans, you're gonna have to score 100 points against Argentina to win the rugby championship. But hey, they actually had a close shot of the cup, like half time. The cup looked really beat up. Like the paint and stuff are chipped off. Like, come on, repair the thing before you put it on camera. Like, Jesus, like, come on, man. Like, basic stuff, basic TV presentation, okay? You can do better than what I do here, all right? Repair the cup. It's like damaged and chipped, the paint's coming off, and they just put up a shot, and it looked awful, looked like garbage. The rugby championship cup, that is. So yeah, good luck. I mean, you probably don't want that, Springboks, because if you get it, you might have to pay for the repair cost before the All Blacks wins the back next year and they break it again. So anyway, right away, the game starts 2 minutes in. There was a lift clean out. So Jed Holloway started off the game with a huge run into the All Blacks half. Looked like the Wallabies come out ready to go, and then immediately a few minutes later, he lifts Dodi Babali in a clean out and he lands on him. Essentially tripped over at the same time, basically. And the referee considered that a dangerous clean out, lift clean out. It did look a little bit dangerous, to be honest. I think that was warranted, yellow card. Jed Holloway sends off the Wallabies. Had to play with 14 players 2 minutes into the game. Bowden Barry gets the ball at this point, just after this. carves up the line, the Wallabies line, and then he did a nice little chipped over the top. The ball bounces, and Corin Bailey gets the ball like into the corner post. So the All Blacks gets a 5-meter scrum, and this was bad. I mean, the Wallabies has a lock in the bin. The All Blacks just marching forward. The scrum getting another penalty. Wallabies were just getting warned for penalties. 3 scrums later, the All Blacks was finally looking like they could potentially crack the Wallabies, but the ball. It looks like the scrum was going forward. But Ali Savia lost control of the ball at the back of the scrum. The ball pops out. Luckily, Brian Foley gets caught offside again. So the All Blacks, after 3 scrums, looking very close to get a penalty try here, makes a big mistake. They opted, instead of going for another scrum, they opt for a 5-meter line out. So the line out comes in, a long ball to the back. Instead of going for a more, so another mistake here. Instead of going for a more against a 7-player 4-pack for the Wallabies, they throw the ball out and try to get Adi Savia to crash the ball. Adi Savia crashes the ball. He gets turned over at the breakdown. And the All Blacks tries to flood the breakdown from the side, gets penalised for injury right from the side. Huge error for the All Blacks to not walk away with the points here. And again, the Wallabies defended with 14 players with a lot of heart and determination. So on the 11th minute, the Wallabies gets a breakdown penalty. They with 14 players, they kick the ball down the field with the 10-meter lineouts. The Wallabies, following this lineout, piled on a lot of pressure, a lot of just short ball, crash ball. You look like the Wallabies has taken a page out of the Irish attack. Just one attack, forward crash, and then the Sam Whitelock gets penalised at the breakdown. The Wallabies, Tom Wright takes a quick tap. He runs, and then he chips the ball over. It chips the ball over. Chips the ball over, and then he gets tackled without the ball. And Riku Ioane gets this ball, counterattacks, links up with Will Jordan. Man, it looked like the Wallabies was in trouble again. So I was really surprised they didn't call this, look at this tackle without a ball. But anyway, Wallabies eventually recovers, gets another 20-meter line out inside the All Blacks half. Good phases, and it was looking like Wallabies were building towards something, potentially creating some space out wide, following some short balls. Harry Wilson drops the ball. On the 16th, after this ball was dropped, finally the Wallabies were back to full players. On a scrum, but the Wallabies were still looking like they're on the back end of it, despite getting the lock back on the field. So following that first 15 minutes where the Wallabies play with the 14 players, the stats already shows the Wallabies actually had more possession and control of the ball, having been inside the All Blacks 22 already 2 minutes, whereas the All Blacks only spent 40 seconds inside the Wallabies 22. On the 20th minute, repeated penalties against the Wallabies again. All Blacks finally says enough. We'll take the 3 points. Let's settle this game down a bit. All Blacks takes the first 3 points on 20 minutes, 3 points to nil. On the 22nd minute, the ball kicks off. The Wallabies gets penalized. So Samuel gets penalized for picking up for basically jumping on the ball when the ball pops out of the rack, and the referee basically says you can't do that. So All Blacks following this starts to attack following this penalty starts to attack the Wallabies. Just like it's very clear that the All Blacks attack utilizes the width a lot more than the Wallabies at this point. So they spread the ball out to the right hand side. Just really nice flat quick balls to the right hand side, exhaust the space on the left hand side, and then they just sprint the ball out wide back to the right. Will Jordan gets the ball. He gets a little bit of space in front of him, slips through a gap. A missed tackle from, I think it was, a missed tackle from the Wallabies player, slips right through. Easy as that. Just utilize the space on one side, spread it out to the other, go straight in. Try time. 10 points to nil to the All Blacks. 23 minutes. And in the 25th minute, Jem Slipper this is just a baffling referee decision. So Jem Slipper looked like him. The referee makes a tackle. The All Blacks were attacking the Wallabies. Looked like the Wallabies under a bit of pressure. Jem Slipper makes a tackle, and the referee stops, says penalty advantage to the All Blacks, and then stops the play. A few minutes later, he goes to the TMO. He thinks that Jem Slipper was in an offside position making a tackle. And he thinks this could be a yellow card, right? So he goes to TMO, and he also thought this was a no-arm tackle. So he goes to TMO. Jem Slipper did wrap his arm, so there was no issue there. And then he also showed that Jem Slipper was not offside at all. And the referee even said, he doesn't look like he's offside to me. But then realized that he had already given the penalty to the All Blacks, says he's offside anyway. So he goes to TMO to check if there was a dangerous tackle. In the process, he realized that his offside call was wrong, and then admitting that was wrong, and then went ahead with the penalty anyway. Anyway, so the All Blacks kicks the ball out from this penalty for a line out, sets up a maul. Wallabies, what's his name? Parecki collapses more illegally. Penalty try. 31st minute. And then the Wallabies gets the kickoff, puts a lot of pressure on this. Again, Wallabies down to 14 players, and suddenly this decided to play rugby. Just lots of hard running, lots of crash ball, pounding the try line, following this kickoff, recovering the ball. And Corin Betty was out wide. This is the way I was talking about. They spread the ball out to him. He's on the wing, unmarked by himself, just a few meters away. He stepped on the sideline with no one touching him. Really, really stupid. I don't know how you could make that mistake, but anyway, following this, the All Blacks had Anyway, I really don't care about this. Harry Wilson ran into a brick wall with Adi Savia and DeGroot smashing him. Who cares, man? So yeah, on the 32nd minute, again, the Wallabies were the All Blacks were giving away more penalties despite having a play advantage. Wallabies kicks the ball out for a 10-meter maul. The All Blacks wins the ball over for the Wallabies holding on. The Wallabies gets penalized, gets a penalty for holding on, for the All Blacks holding on. Not kicking for 3. They take another quick tab with 14 players on the field. This was easily 3 points right in front. Easily 3 points. But the Wallabies decide to take a quick tab. Just start, attacking again. Sure enough, a few phases later, the All Blacks turns the ball over. And Beauden Barrett, huge clearance kick. And it was an opportunity lost. What else to say? This is just, I don't know. This is actually really painful going back. So on the 36th minute, the All Blacks makes a huge break. It looked like really dangerous. Will Jordan just carving it up. Luckily, Pete Samble turns the ball over and saves the Wallabies on the 36th minute. On the 38th minute, looked like Bernard Foley, All Blacks was going to have an overlap out wide. Bernard Foley saves it with the intercept. He runs down the sideline, kicks the ball behind. He gets tackled without the ball. Another one, and the referee says, "Let's it go." So at halftime, All Blacks, despite playing against 14 players, 17 points to 0. And I thought, hey, maybe the Wallabies, if they can play like they do with 14 players, with 15 players on the field, they could potentially still come back. 17 points to 0. It's not a deficit that's impossible to come back. But the second half starts, oh man. You better all play with 14 players. This was awful. The Wallabies, 2 minutes into the game, in the second half, 42 minutes on the clock. All Blacks just gets the quick start building faces. Just absolutely Wallabies defense just going backwards. Just All Blacks flooding the into the Wallabies defense. And Whitelock charges over. It looked like it was knocked on. Maybe someone had a hand on it. Again, referee somehow says he can see the ball being grounded on field. Asked the TMO to check. Could not see clearly what's happened. But the on-field decision is to try. So All Blacks gets its try. Right under the goalpost. 24 points to 0. 46th minute. Caleb Clark almost breaks free. He gets held on by his jersey. And the Wallabies tackling was just not fronting up at this point. Missed tackles left and right. Gets penalised again for not rolling away, the Wallabies. And Wallabies says, yeah, we'll take the score. Kicks another 3. 27 points to nil. Only 6 minutes into the second half. On the 52nd minute, 52 minutes on the clock, Wallabies gets penalised for collapsing the scrum. 53 minutes, the All Blacks, following this penalty, goes for a line out and a drive. Cody Taylor goes in for the try. Just a line out more, try time. Wallabies cannot hold this more. It was too good. Too good for the Wallabies. 56 minutes, Wallabies gets penalised. What is it? Wallaby gets a penalty for being tackled without the ball. Looked like a shoulder judge to me, but Nick White gets a warning for back chat to the referee, but still the Wallabies gets a penalty. Wallabies tries to set up a more very sloppy, and the more gets turned over by Retallick, and All Blacks defense and then the All Blacks tries to kick the ball out from this turnover more. It gets charged down. It gets a hand on it. So it's when the Wallaby player gets a hand on it, so they get the ball back just outside the All Blacks 22. They decided to just spread the ball out wide. Fainga'a gets the ball just near the sideline, passes the ball to Pete Samu on the wing. He runs down, throws the ball back in just before he gets pushed out to Fainga'a. He juggles the ball a little bit, but catches the ball. Eventually, he gets tackled just short of the try line, reaches in for the first try for the Wallabies. 32 points to 7, back of a poor All Blacks exit kick. So Wallabies gets a bit of a break here, a free try. And then immediately, from the kickoff, Jordi Potea drops the ball from a counter attack. All Blacks gets a scrum. Anyway, so on the 64th minute, the All Blacks tries for another more. Wallabies defends, but what happened here? Anyway, So All Blacks do some more. Good news for the Wallabies. They defend the more. They get the ball turnover. So the Wallabies gets a scrum, right? Wallaby gets a scrum. I think there was a knock on by the All Blacks. So Wallaby gets a 5-meter scrum. The ball pops out. Nick White gets disrupted a little bit. He passes the ball to Tom Wright. Tom Wright gets the ball just in front of his own try line. He tries to run and he drops the ball before he was tackled. And then the All Blacks goes for another more. And then there was another penalty. And then All Blacks goes for another more. And again, this time the All Blacks sets them up perfectly. Takiaho was on the field. Goes in for the try. Puts the ball down for the try after the ball just completely demolishes the Wallabies defense. And suddenly the Wallabies, 37 points to 7. Mwanga misses the kick. On the 36th minute, Akira Ioane gets a nice little break. He kicks the ball behind. Corin Betty chases the ball into the goal. He tries to ground the ball and he fails. Bounces the ball. He bounces the ball on the ground. And the TMO deems that knock on. So the All Blacks gets a 5-meter scrum. Nick White did really well here. He sacks Finley Christie and turns the ball over following the scrum. So the All Blacks did not able to score a try here from the scrum. 69th minute, RTS is on the field for Beauden Barrett. And on the 70th minute, Rhys Hodge gets a high shot, head-on-head collision by Seville Reese. Didn't even look at it. And following this a few minutes later, there was another penalty. Rhys Hodge fails fine touch. Yeah, I don't know how this could happen. 75th minute, there was another penalty for a high tackle to the All Blacks. Yeah, nice little seatbelt tackle. At this point, I was just like, I don't even know what I was watching anymore. But the All Blacks decides to take 3 points, just keep the scoreboard ticking. 40 points to 7 because they need as bigger a margin as possible. Anyway, on the 81st minute, finally the Wallabies gets a penalty and they try to kick the ball out for a 10-meter line out for a consolation try. The maul wasn't very good, but the Wallabies just keep crashing the ball. Eventually, Corbett gets the ball in the wing, redeems himself in the extra time, huge run, knocks down one of the All Blacks player defenders. But then the Wallabies kept on building some faces, crash board. Eventually, Nick White gets a short, flat cut-out pass to Potea right in front of the goalpost. Runs in with speed under the post. Try time. 40 points to set 14. And that was it. Like this, I don't know. I think I just end this review here because that's... there was so many missed, knock-ons and missed tackle in this game. I genuinely, I was just... Yeah, that was really painful. That was really painful for me to watch. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys a bit later tonight. Sorry to all the Springbok fans. You should have helped us bribe the referee, because obviously the All Blacks has managed to pay more money than we did, and they got the referee on their side. But good luck beating Argentina by 43 points. I think you need to win by 43 points to win the Rugby Championship, and at least 3 tries as well. So you need a bonus point win and 43 points margin. So good luck, Springboks. See you guys later. Cheers.